Welcome to AI TV News. Why would a prestigious university turn down a deal for preferential access to millions in government funding? Today, we're explaining the story of Brown University's rejection of a controversial offer from the White House and what it signals for the future of higher education in America. On October 15, 2025, Brown University, a member of the elite Ivy League, formally rejected a deal from the Trump administration. This wasn't just any deal. It was an invitation to join what the White House calls the Compact for Academic Excellence in Higher Education. This 10-page proposal was first sent on October 1st to 9 prominent American universities. In exchange for signing, these schools were promised preferential access to substantial and meaningful federal grants. So what did the White House ask for in return? The compact laid out a series of significant policy changes. It would prohibit universities from considering race, sex, or political views in admissions. It would mandate the use of standardized tests for all undergraduate applicants. The deal also sought to restrict diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, often called DEI, which the administration claims can belittle conservative ideas. Furthermore, it would cap international undergraduate enrollment at 15%. Require universities to screen out foreign students considered hostile to the U.S., and freeze tuition for 5 years. Finally, it would require single-sex spaces, like bathrooms, based on a definition of gender tied to reproductive function. Brown was the second university to publicly say no. The first was the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, or MIT, which rejected the deal a week earlier. In a letter to administration officials, Brown's president, Christina Paxson, explained the university's decision. She stated that the compact would restrict academic freedom and undermine the autonomy of Brown's governance, critically compromising our ability to fulfill our mission. Let's break down those two key reasons. First, academic freedom. This is the principle that universities should be able to conduct research and teach subjects without outside political interference. President Paxson argued the compact would force the university to give up control over its own curriculum and academic speech. Second, she raised concerns about how research would be funded. Traditionally, federal grants for scientific research are awarded through a competitive, merit-based process. The best ideas and most promising projects get the funding. President Paxson warned that this deal suggests funding could be awarded based on other criteria, not just the quality of the research. Her concerns were echoed by MIT's president, who said the deal was inconsistent with the core belief that scientific funding should be based on scientific merit alone. The decision at Brown was backed by what President Paxson called the vast majority of Brown stakeholders, including faculty and students. This compact is not happening in a vacuum. It's the latest move in a broader effort by the administration to influence higher education. Previously, the administration has frozen hundreds of millions of dollars in federal funding for other major universities, often citing investigations into alleged civil rights violations. What makes this story even more complex is that Brown University did make a separate deal with the administration just a few months ago, in July 2025. In that agreement, Brown had $510 million in research grants unfrozen. In exchange, the university committed $50 million to workforce training in Rhode Island, agreed to restrict transgender athletes from competing on teams based on their gender identity, and eliminated diversity targets in admissions. In her letter rejecting the new compact, President Paxson noted that the July agreement contained assurances that the government would not interfere with the university's curriculum, a protection she said the new compact does not offer. The White House has expanded its invitation to all U.S. colleges and universities, with President Trump stating that higher education has lost its way, and the compact is for institutions that want to quickly return to the pursuit of truth and achievement. The administration has also warned that institutions refusing to sign may face federal investigations, though it's unclear if funding will ultimately depend on signing the agreement. The proposal has been sharply criticized by many higher education leaders. The American Council on Education called it a horrible precedent to cede power to the federal government. Faculty at other universities, including Dartmouth, have organized against the compact, and student government representatives from several of the invited schools released a joint statement of opposition. So what we are seeing is a fundamental conflict over the role of America's universities. On one side, an administration seeking to use federal funding to reshape higher education policy according to its agenda. On the other, universities like Brown and MIT pushing back, arguing that such a move compromises the core principles of academic freedom and merit-based science. The decisions being made now could define the relationship between the government and higher education for years to come.